Okay, C2? C3. C3, Councillor Ramsey.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this report, this is the first time this report has come forward, and it was something that was directed by Council. Upon seeing it, I think perhaps I would like to maybe put forward a consideration to Council. So I would move that Council directs our one employee, the City Manager, to routinely report to Council on the City Manager's expenses in a closed meeting setting as an alternative to receiving this report in an open meeting. And I'll just give some rationale to this.
I'll second.
Thank you, thank you, Councillor Polillo. So just seeing this, a couple things that come to mind. The first is just I do have a concern that I have a concern about asking employees to publish this information, primarily around the fact that all of the expenses in these reports are to do business that Council has already approved within the budget. I think by moving this into the closed meeting, Council can still have the accountability of reviewing these expenses, but it removes the, I think, the critique by the public to our employees for doing work that we've already authorized. I am concerned about employee attraction and retention. Yes, this is only, I think, our directors, our city manager, corporate officer, deputy corporate officer that are filing these expense reports. However, if we're looking to attract employees that may be interested in a future position like that, we are the only city that asks this of employees. So I do think that it could potentially be a barrier to recruitment. Additionally, if we are going to delve into individual line item data on a report such as the Statement of Financial Information report, that information, because of privacy of discussing an individual employee, is pushed to the closed meeting where it is appropriately discussed. So I think just seeing this, for me, I would prefer that it get moved into a more confidential setting. Council can still, again, as I've said, have that accountability of reviewing the expenses and having that transparency. But I just feel that perhaps it's just not appropriate for this. We as the public, or we as elected officials, are at the top of the org chart. We don't have anyone above us, so it makes a lot of sense for our expenses to be placed on the open public agenda for that critique, because we don't report to anyone, but our staff report to Mr. Babich, who reports to us. And so I do feel like that good governance would dictate that Mr. Babich reviews that information and conveys to Council in a closed meeting. So I just put that forward for Council's consideration, Your Worship.
You. Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Worship, and I too, I'm in support of this idea, because in sober second thought, I believe that while the report was asked for in good faith, there's a better way. And so I support moving this back to the hands of our city manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Polillo.
Your Worship, not much to add for the points that Councillor Ramsey raised, but I really want to stress the point of the difference, the fact that we are elected officials. And you'll see the report right there, C2, our expenses for the last 2 quarters. I don't believe that transparency is needed in this form for our staff and our directors. I think there is a more appropriate way to present that information, and I believe it's not in this manner for the reasons that Councillor Ramsey mentioned, and the important reason that we're elected, they are not. So I don't think we need this sort of reporting in a public forum like this, Your Worship.
Comment is their expense is reported through Sophie report, right? As a summary item. Okay. Councillor Skaken.
Well, thank you, Your Worship. This is a step backwards. That motion was passed legitimately. This is a way, in my opinion, around getting around a motion that Council passed. We voted on. It was legitimate. I don't even think we're giving this any time. And we talk about transparency. this is going to make it less transparent. And yes, they're public servants, and they're paid by the taxpayer, and I think that there needs to be a level of accountability there. And we talk about workplace culture and attraction and attention, then, you know, we need to talk about having a less toxic workplace, a healthy workplace, employees that want to come to work at the City of Prince George. I think there's a whole bunch of opportunities, and it's not just about this one item here. If we want to really make sure we can attract and you know, have the retention of good employees. So I think it's a move, a step backwards. We haven't even given this a chance, and this is the first time it's on the report, and it's been nuked, and I think that's unfortunate. And again, step backwards, and I'll be voting against this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Klassen.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I think it's not a surprise to anyone that I fiercely advocate for democracy to be supported and for the taxpayer to feel comfortable that their monies are being wisely spent. And at the same time, I think it's incredibly important that our staff take every opportunity they can to improve their skills by attending conferences and taking classes to improve their skills so that they can better serve the city. I think this is a step backward, just like Councillor Skaken said. I think, you know, when we hand in, like when council hands in, when we hand in our expenses, we have to justify them. And if we can't justify them, you know, sometimes it's like when it makes you think twice, for one thing, but also it's that exercise of justifying them makes you think about, you know, what are you spending taxpayer money on? And I think ultimately we all owe, any city employee owes their job to the taxpayers, and I'm not afraid of taxpayers. So I feel very strongly that it's totally okay to be completely transparent. I mean, I'd prefer open data if we could. So I'll be voting against. Thanks.
Councillor Fussell.
Thank you, Mayor. As Councillor Scott said, I think the intentions were good, but reading through it, it was a big nothing burger. There wasn't much to it to make decisions on. We commission reports and ask for reports and require reports so that we can make decisions, and there's nothing here. So I don't see the value in it. I get the transparency argument, but it's outweighed by having to put money into something that we're getting not much for. So I don't need it anymore. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you very much, Worship, and thank you to. I think this is a really good conversation, and again, I've kind of entered this weighing kind of both the pros and cons around you know, staff time, preparing this information, the need for and desire for transparency, and you know, I think it was a comment by Councillor Skaken actually that I think kind of solidified for me is you know, this is the first time we're seeing this report. I would be curious, I guess, from staff in terms of the time it took to prepare it. I think this is a good document to have publicly, and so that we as a council can support the work that our staff are doing, because I think it is important that staff are attending these events and are representing the city at these events, and I think that's where this falls to council to, you know, if people start questioning what they see in these reports, it's council's job to defend, you know, how tax dollars are being spent. So I guess perhaps through to Mr. Babich, just is there an estimate in terms of how the time frame and how long it took staff to prepare this report, or was it more just like a pulling of a GL?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to have to refer over to Mr. Dalio, who coordinated the preparation of the data, but I think anecdotally it did take some significant time. for staff, and maybe I'll ask Mr. Dalio to expand.
For myself personally, I just had to make sure I wasn't forgetting something, so I had to look up the GL and just make sure, because sometimes an expense might be paid for you on your behalf, and in my case it was. There's an NCLGMA membership fee that was processed by the 5th floor. I didn't even know I had it. I, of course, attend NCLGMA things and occasionally weigh in, but I actually didn't know that expense was there. So in order to be truthful in the reporting, I had to be thorough, so I had to go look and make sure that what was there. For other directors, they had, I think, if we had known we were doing this January to June, we would have had a different process in place for ourselves to track what we were doing. We don't have assistants that we can just go delegate that to. So it takes us off of our work plan to go do that. I think it would be quicker going forward than it was this first time around.
No, and I appreciate that. And again, I think, you know, even looking at this, I think there's tweaks that we could make to make this, you know, what is the information that is important to share? Personally, I would love to give it another period just to gather, you know, to see what the return on investment is. But of course, we'll take the will of council. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody in the queue, I can hear both sides of the argument. Yeah, because I do believe the last time when the motion was passed that we trial for half years, just a couple reporting period. Am I correct? It's not this thing.
Well, it might have been talked about. That didn't make the motion. So without further direction from council, this report would continue in perpetuity until told otherwise.
Thank you. And based on your last comment, you said as the time goes, this process will become simpler because every director, every top-tier manager, you would develop some kind of tracking system to make this reporting almost on an instant basis. Is that what you mentioned too?
I don't know about an instant basis. It'll still take time to verify, make sure your records are right, make sure that you've included everything, because it's going on a public agenda. You want to make sure it's accurate.
Okay.
But I may want to stress to council that I don't believe this has ever been about the time it takes to produce the report, but more about the other sort of what would you call them? Unwanted consequences, I guess, that come along with this. I, for one, have had staff tell me that this would be something that would make them second guess ever wanting to apply for my position. They don't want that kind of public scrutiny.
Okay.
And so it would be those kinds of things that I would be suggesting to council to focus on rather than the time it takes to complete the report.
Okay. I had some incident when I first became mayor. We're going to use the, what they call a Q card, the credit card, the city credit card.
Yes, our terminology in-house is P-card.
P-card, not Q-card, P-card. Is all the people required under this particular request for reporting back to the council, they all have P-cards?
Not necessarily. I don't have one. One of my staff does, and so if I do require anything, just to keep the amount of P-cards less in circulation, I go through a staff member to have that done.
Would it be easier if every director, under this, to get a P card, so when they know that's automatically the expense will be, like if I use a P card, this information will be exposed exactly how it was spent, the time of it, the location, everything.
Again, Your Worship, I have no concerns with doing the reporting. I know how to do it. It's not difficult that way. It's about all of the other sorts of things that come along with having your staff be in the position of public scrutiny in this way. We checked other municipalities. No other municipality does this. Okay. So Sophie is a provincially regulated reporting requirement as to expenses made by staff members and what they make in a wage. And so that is the level designated by the province for it. Council can, of course, put more reporting requirements on staff if they like, but this is unique, and I believe other municipalities don't do this because they want their administration to think like administration instead of thinking like an elected official and getting the public scrutiny. As it's been said, we should be encouraged to go on these sorts of training and go to these conferences. But if staff are second guessing it because they're worried about the political view of that, I don't believe that's a position you want to put your administration in. That's just my opinion from my chair. Of course, we will do whatever council would ask.
Thank you. And my final question is to the chair of the finance committee. Ms. Corey also to be a president of UBCM as well. The current reporting system, regardless of which way the vote goes, it does not stop you as a financing committee to looking into any specific items or any specific thing breaking down. If you want to question on behalf of the City Council, is that true? No.
Your Worship, if there was a motion of council directing FNA to do a certain amount specific work, I would gladly take that away as the will of council.
Okay. Call the question. All in favor of the motion? No, first, I want to receive first. I want to have a motion to receive the motion to receive C3 first.
Sorry, Your Worship. So it's a consent agenda, so we'll receive all of them together at the end anyways. So if we can deal with the motion.
Including that motion?
That,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Okay, I'll call the motion on the floor that the reporting in detail only limited to Mr. Babbage. That's in essence. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have it as Council directs the City Manager to routinely report to Council on City Manager expenses in a closed Council meeting as an alternative to receiving it in an open meeting.
All in favor? Opposed?
Who's opposed against, sorry, Your Worship? Okay.
Carried. Yeah. It's carried.
Okay.
Motion carried. Okay. And I will ask the council to receive all the. I can do all C1 to 3, right? Second. C1 to C3 all received. Thank you. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.